Hi, Grammar Pirates. I'm so glad that you're with me today. We're going to be talking about regular and irregular plural nouns. So the first question is, what are nouns? And they are people, places, things, or ideas. And remember, ideas are things that you really can't touch, like honesty and justice. Now, the morpheme to make something plural is to add an S or an ES, and this is the regular version of a regular noun. So we might take a swing, and now we have multiple swings. One boy, two or more boys. One caterpillar, a great big pile of caterpillars. If you're going to add an ES to a noun to make it plural, it's because the end of the noun actually makes it hard to say when just adding an S. So you actually add an ES so that you add that additional syllable. So fox becomes foxes, bush becomes bushes, church becomes churches. If something is irregular, that morpheme, IR, means not. So it means they are not regular. This means the nouns where you will not just add an S or an ES to show that there's more than one of that specific noun. So you're going to want to make sure you write down all these different little categories so that you can remember these as we practice. Nouns ending in Y, such as penny and blueberry. If a noun ends in a Y, you don't actually keep a Y when you're adding a suffix. So what letter can represent the same sound as a Y makes? That's right, the letter I. So what you do is you change that Y to an I and you add an ES. So penny becomes pennies, blueberry becomes blueberries. Sometimes you completely change the spelling. If we have one man, one tooth, one child, or one foot, when you have more than one of these, it sounds very, very different. Men, teeth, children, feet. You don't say, oh, look at the one children who are running. Children implies that there's more than one, even though you don't have an S or an ES. If a noun ends in the F sound, the F sound, when you have more than one, such as half, wolf, thief, and shelf, if you think about it, when you're trying to add an S to that, then the shape of your mouth actually changes, so that F sound starts to sound like the letter V. So it actually changes it to a VES. So you have halves, wolves, thieves, shelves. So the spelling reflects actually the change in shape in our mouth. Some nouns don't change regardless of whether they're singular or plural. They seem to be animals for the most part. I don't believe that it is only animals. So while there's a few other categories, you really want to think about animals seem to be staying the same. So whether you have one salmon or 100 salmon, it is the same thing. One moose or 50 moose. These all continue to remain the same. Then you have these really interesting nouns called compound nouns, and these are when there are hyphens between the words, like mother-in-law or commander-in-chief. The important idea to remember is that this means that the most important word in this little compound phrase here is the one that you change to plural. Do you have more mothers? Yes. Do you have more commanders? Yes. And that's where we add the S. So it's mothers-in-law or commanders-in-chief. And the last one is when you have a combination of a vowel and an O at the end, you just add an S. So video, videos, radio, radios. You just add that S on there. However, if you have a consonant and then an O, you need to check the dictionary because there actually really doesn't seem to be a pattern to that. They are the ultimate in irregular plural nouns. So it really depends. Tomato becomes tomatoes, TOES, hero to heroes, potato to potatoes. Those all add O and then an E and an S. But otherwise, you have to really kind of check in the dictionary as it changes. All right, so let's practice here a little bit with these. And remember, this week, spelling really does count because that's the whole point of this, the way that you're letting your readers know. Sally, oh, excuse me. So what you're going to do with the parentheses is you are going to make that word plural and spelling it correctly. So number 1, Sally was going to listen to the, make it plural. Number 2, George wanted to look at the, make it image plural. Number 3, the blank were her favorite part of the trip. Number 4, I wasn't sure how many, plural form of fox, there were outside. And number 5, did you look at the, plural form of photo, on the table? All right, let's see how we did. Radios, you just add an S. Images, churches, foxes, and photos, where you just add the S on there. So hopefully you spelled those correctly. That's the most important part to check. We're going to do a little bit more practice here. Make sure you write these down so you can see how you did. Remember, you're going to make whatever's in the parentheses plural. The blank, we're going to lunch. I found blank on the ground. We caught a lot of blank on our trip. And I saw 4 blank yesterday. And finally, did you grow your own blank this year? All right, let's see how we did. So remember, we have more than one mother, so it's mothers-in-law. Pennies, we changed that Y to an I and add ES. Salmon just stays the same. And then I saw 4, oh, shame on me, that should actually be moose, so it doesn't change. So it should be moose. I'm going to actually write that there. And number 5, potatoes. So you want to make sure that you add that as well. So this should be moose, M-O-O-S-E. Oh, say shame on me. Thank you. So I want you to keep thinking about that a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. And if it was regular or fits the pattern, you would just add an S or an ES. But then we have all those kind of wonky ones, the irregular nouns, So you want to think about that and what you would do to make sure that you're showing your readers that you have more than one of those. All right, Grammar Pirates, I will see you later.